So you mentioned the problem of passively communicating. Do you
Mhm.
want to explain what that is a little bit more thoroughly?
Yeah, I think this is the habit of a lot of people. Passively or passively aggressively communicating and not being direct. And I think it comes from a few places. I think often it can come from fear of, well, if I'm really direct, then what kind of reaction will I get? It also can make you feel really vulnerable to be really direct about your needs and
Yes.
wants. But I think it is really important. A lot of people fall into habits of this passive communication of, for example, so if you're talking about, washing the dishes, if you could directly just say to your partner, "Hey, could you do the dishes? I'm running out the door." But instead of that, what a lot of people do is, "Oh, those dishes really need to be done." And then they just wait and wait and expecting the other person to say, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And you're running out the door. Let me take care of that.
Mhm.
But we make a lot of assumptions, right? Of course they're going to notice this. Of course they're going to volunteer to do this. And I think what I tell couples all the time is just because something's obvious to you does not mean it's obvious to the other person. So you need to be direct if there's something you really need and say, "Could you please do this?" Because otherwise they might miss it.
I think women in particular have radar. I mean, we scan the room and we see five things that need to be done,
Mhm.
but not every man or partner has the same vision. They don't pick up on the same needs. They can walk past things that look obvious to us, but are not necessarily obvious to them.
Mhm.
So direct communication just solves a lot of problems, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely. And I tell couples too, look, if you're not used to doing this, if you've had 30, 40, whatever years of passive communication, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going
Yes,
to be a really tough transition, and it's worth it. It is so, so worth it.
yes, yes. It is worth it. When something that we're doing doesn't work, the tendency is to blame the partner
Mhm.
rather than to acknowledge, well, this technique that I've been using doesn't work very well. I need to try something new.
Yeah,
And trying something new is risky. And it also, you mentioned the word vulnerable. It feels vulnerable to try something different.
absolutely.